there! I'm Chris-Rachael, your Kitchen Overlord, back for day 4 of my South by Southwest challenge to make a video a day for a week. I, as I'm sure you can guess, am doing mine about the Hobbit because I wrote an Unexpected Cookbook, the unofficial book of Hobbit cookery, and this is just such a wonderful opportunity for me to share a bunch of historical tidbits about the real world that inspired the food of the Shire that I just couldn't fit into the book. The book was already 30,000 words. It's got a bunch of historical kind of cul-de-sacs and whatnot in it. And at some point, you have to draw the line. And I'm going to say for Luncheon, the line that is drawn is graphic descriptions of feces. Yeah, that's where we're going. We're going straight to shit-town today for lunch. Not because lunch was bad, but because today we're going to talk about the 1890s view of vegetables. I'm going to do a whole video just on vegetables in time for luncheon, because luncheon would have been the first time of day that you would actually be seeing a vegetable. And that vegetable would not look like anything that you are familiar with today. And you know why that is? Because they would have boiled it to death out of, honest to God, fear of dying. So they didn't have the germ theory of disease, but they did have a lot of cholera. They knew that if you ate things that had been touched by human feces, you were going to get very, very sick. They also didn't have running water. So let's say you've got a vegetable that you've pulled from a field. If you're a farmer, you know that as soon as you planted those seeds, you then turned around and covered it with shit. Human shit, cow shit, dog shit, chicken shit, any type of shit you can find because it's a great fertilizer. There were some other fertilizers being brought in, but you know what? One of the biggest things that you were bringing in was bat guano. Any type of form of shit you can find makes great fertilizer. So tell some guy, hey, you know what I think you ought to do for your health? Go grab something out of the thing that you think of as a giant pile of shit and put it in your mouth. He's gonna say, why do you want me dead? Please back away and don't hurt me, because that's the most logical response in that era. They couldn't even clean it properly. When I mentioned the whole no running water, if you've got water in your home, you literally carried it into your house. You went to a well, put it in some buckets, put it on your shoulders, and trotted it in there. Are you going to waste that water scrubbing things down? Or are you going to waste it, well, not waste it, but use it for boiling, use it for cleaning yourself or anything in your house? You've got a really limited amount of water, and being told, hey, you're going to use this much of it, which is a whole bucket full that you just carried and it's heavy. Just scrub down some vegetables, then pour that out. No one's going to want to do that. It's an unrealistic amount of work to expect from people. So they were not big on eating vegetables. I would honestly goodness say that eating a raw vegetable straight from the field was one of the butchest things you could do. Like, come on, bro, come at me. I'm going to eat a raw carrot. I'm just going to pull it out of the ground, shove it in my face. I'm a crazy person. Probably would have been their approach to raw vegetables. They did eat them, though, because sometimes you just need something to put in there with your carbs and your meat. And they boiled them. I cannot exaggerate enough how much these things were boiled. It was considered pretty healthy with something like carrots and turnips. Boil it for 10 hours, whatever. For a softer vegetable like green beans, why not boil them for 2 or 3 hours? And no, I'm not joking. 2 or 3 hours of boiling for green beans. It's paste by the time you're done. The most historically accurate thing that you could do these days if you wanted to make a vegetable that's like something somebody would have eaten then would be to get some canned vegetables, you know, the type where like you could push a toothpick all the way through a carrot and then boil them some more. They really wouldn't have trusted anything that wasn't about to fall apart. This is also, by the way, why everyone was obsessed with peeling your potatoes, which these days everyone's like, yes, let's eat our potato skin because we have a lot of extra water, we can scrub them clean, and we also trust well, I don't trust is the right word, but you know, we're pretty sure that we're not going to die from eating the potato skin. They were pretty firmly convinced that the potato skin was God's gift to make sure that the interior of the potato was protected against all the horrible disease out there, and that's why they would peel it all off. So, not going to have a whole lot of vegetables. The vegetables that you do have are mostly going to be root vegetables. They trusted those a lot more than vegetables that were on the surface because the roots were down below that big thick layer of shit, whereas anything above it was probably just going to be dangling its little green bean or pea pod or whatever tails into the shit every time the wind blew. And that was, again, great chance to have some cholera. Yeah, man, it was a harsh environment. It would have been pretty hard to be a hardcore vegetarian at the time. Almost everybody was a softcore vegetarian because meat was super expensive. So you would have been having, let's just call it what it was, a carbitarian. You would have been having a ton of bread. You would have been having a ton of potatoes, a moderate amount of root vegetables, depending on, you know, what season it was. Not a whole lot of meat. very little fruit, because fruit has always been expensive, and don't touch the vegetables because those are just dangerous. So the next time somebody gives you some shit, hopefully figurative and not literal, taking you to a field and putting you down there with it, about not eating your vegetables, tell them it's not so much that you don't believe in health, you just have slightly antiquated views on it. You, in fact, are a good hobbit. We'll be back tomorrow with yet another video on the exciting world of the Shire.